Hello, hello. Welcome to week 128. Thank you so much for your attention. We finally got to 100 subscribers, actually 111 when I'm recording this. Let's see if we can get to 1,000. That's going to be a long trek. But welcome to the week 128. Remember, the Spring Team is the only team in the entire city of Toronto, any agent that I've ever seen, actually anywhere in the GTA, that is monitoring the specific markets week over week and spotting trends before our competitors do. So it's helped our sellers make smart selling decisions. This consistent effort for 128 weeks has helped our buyers make smart buying decisions. And it's also helped us understand where the market is in real time. So please do not wait for other realtors to regurgitate the monthly statistics that are released by TREB, the Toronto Real Estate Board, Regional Real Estate Board, about a week after the month ends. Those numbers may as well not even exist because they do not matter to you, because today is a very different story than yesterday. This week is a very different story than last week. So the main point of this week is, and I'm not sure if you are aware, but 91% of all of the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board realtors that are currently active in the market have not ever negotiated in a market where days on market is this long, where we have market conditions in this way. The last time something like this was really experienced was in 2008 and 9 after the financial crisis. Prior to that would have been 2000 and I guess 2000 and, well, no, not 2000. It would have been in the late 80s and early 90s. So luckily, when I started my career, not luck, I didn't know it was luck at the time, was right in the middle of the financial crisis. In 2007 is when I started, and after I got started, the entire world started melting down around me. So it really taught me how to be a strong negotiator, and I'm really seeing some serious weakness in some negotiation skills by agents on the other side of deals we're trying to do. There are agents out there that are getting frustrated at going back and forth and really wanting to come to that number that our buyer or seller is willing to accept more quickly. Those days when, back in 2008 and 9, when we were negotiating deals, the first page of the agreement of purchase and sale would be a bloodbath. It would be, price going back and forth 6 or 7 times. And this was before digital signatures. So we were going and meeting and signing and driving here and there, faxing and scanning, and 32 megabyte files, each individual pages sent through Hotmail or whatever it is. So we're seeing a lot of those newer agents out there not knowing how to negotiate in this market and costing their clients money. So make sure that your agent, number one, if they haven't been in the business for long enough, that they're working with a team that has a mentor, coach, or team leader that has been in the market, that that understands negotiation, that understands that, we're in a market now where we are negotiating not with our buyers to help them get to that big number that we're hoping a seller will accept, but finally negotiating back and forth with the seller, and trying to, as a buyer's agent, trying to get that price as low as possible. And on the flip side, as a seller's agent, trying to get those buyers to come up as high as possible. It's a very delicate dance that I'm seeing a lot of newer agents not doing correctly and costing buyers and sellers money. So reach out if you want to talk more about that. But negotiation is a very, very different skill in a market like this, where you need to really hone that, sharpen your pencil, so to speak. So anyway, that's besides the point. Somehow it ended up being the title of this week's market report, just because I really loved the way it sounded. And it's really crazy to me that over 55,000 realtors have been in the business for such a short amount of time. But it is what it is. So let me share the screen with you. Let's see if I remember how to do this. We're not going to share that screen. We're going to share. How do I share this? Let's go bring that over here. And we can do this. So what we are talking about right now is this. So how do you feel about the market in general right now? Do you feel pretty good? Do you feel, weak? Whatever it is, you feel however you feel about the market because you have certain, expectations based on the way the market has performed in the past. And in the past, let's say 10 years, we've had a pretty strong market, with the exception of 2017, when the Ontario government passed the Ontario Fair Housing measures that introduced the stress test, introduced the foreign buyer tax, etc. So honestly, I can't really get to you if you have a pessimistic view on the real estate market long term, especially in Toronto. Like, we're not on the same level, we're not speaking the same language. So you either leave a crappy comment like this guy Grant left on the previous video, week 127. He seems to think that everything is going to zero. Let the man think that, while the rest of us make some smart investments right now and take our checks to the bank, as the rental market is as strong as it is. So what we're talking about right now, again, I really just want to focus on opportunities, because, like, I can tell you about real estate being cheaper today than it was in January and February, but what does that really do for you? Like, oh, be careful, like, real estate's less expensive than the hottest 2 months in the history of real estate. Like, obviously, stuff that was trading up to 1.2 is trading at, like, 950 to 1.1 right now. Stuff that was trading as high as 1.8 is trading like 1.5 to 1.7 right now. So yeah, the market is down, but what are you going to do about it? Like, it's not just going to be down and stay down. Prices don't come down because they're too high. Like that meme, the rent is too damn high. I'm sure you've seen that meme before. Prices come down because you either remove buyers from the market or you oversupply the market beyond buyer demand. In this case, we have a pretty low supply in terms of months of inventory, and we talked about that last week. If we look at months of inventory here, again, we're down months of inventory from last month. So these are numbers for July. We'll see what August does, because we did have some decreased sales this August, lower than we've seen it in a long time. So we'll see what the August months of inventory figure looks like. But, last year we had 120 fewer listings on the market. And, I can show you that specific stat here once we get down to it. But so we don't have a supply problem. And we also don't have a situation where we have like a tremendous amount of phenomenal deals, especially in freehold and condo land right now. Like I've said over and over again, and many of you have emailed me and I've responded with some amazing assignment options that exist in the marketplace. That is really where the market is right now. We have sorry, that's not even what I was trying to highlight. I was trying to highlight the fact that, of course, the assignments are where the bloodbath is right now. There are assignments that are available at the price that some original buyers bought them for, but you do need a little bit of extra cash to get into an assignment. So it's not everybody's cup of tea, especially with Toronto prices. But I just want to draw some attention to the rental market right now. So we've got houses that are trading at under $1 million from Toronto all the way to Oshawa that are bringing in rents that are 30 to 75% higher than they were at this time last year. That's a huge increase in the potential income for these rental properties. But a lot of people think they're getting these properties at like massive discounts. I'm really sorry to say that's just not the case, especially in our urban markets. We're not really seeing much more than a 10% drop in prices from the top in some of the more popular neighborhoods with specific houses that have performed, that are in a condition that are mostly turnkey, or on streets or neighborhoods that are super in demand, like the North Riverdales of Toronto and the High Parks of Toronto, that have great public schools, etc. So we're not getting massive discounts on these properties, but the lower end ones, the entry level ones, like the one that my clients offered on, we weren't successful because guess what? We competed against 2 other bids. Like, multiple offers are still happening. This house was at 33 Alton Avenue. You can Google it. Had a basement apartment. The main floor, you can generate up to $4,700 a month out of this property, sold for $999. We haven't seen this house would have traded for up to 1.2 back in January and February, where cash flow would have been an issue, but interest rates were cheaper then, so perhaps it's a wash. But overall, you've got income producing properties. I'm going to get my face back up here. You've got income producing properties that are most in demand right now. 4 of the 5 houses that my clients have offered on in the past 10 days have gone into multiple offers. Like, I want you to let that sink in for a second. Like, buyers are still out there buying quality product. Investors especially are still out there buying quality product. And if the unit is vacant, even better, because we can charge today's market rates on those units, because you can't increase the rate, the rental price beyond the maximum allowable unless the unit was built on or after November 2018. And we can get into the specifics of that down the road. I know some of you are like, well, it's not when it was built, it's when it was residentially occupied. Well, listen, what wasn't residentially occupied prior to November 2018 if it was built? There aren't too many commercial properties being turned into residential. So it usually just applies to new condominiums and new houses in Toronto. Oh, sorry, in Ontario. So where else should we go with this conversation today? So the main point of this is that we're not really in an environment where there are tremendous deals across the board. Assignment and some houses are doing well. And you know what? We've had a condo a condo townhouse that had 22 offers. So this all speaks to the supply consistently being pulled back and back and back and back, with buyer demand maintaining its, trajectory, or maintaining its whatever the word is. But what's also not happened, and what will happen over the next couple of weeks, is that the interest rate conversation really hasn't been in the news that much for the past little while. So we haven't had too much of that fear out there to move buyers off the offer table. So over the next couple of weeks, as we approach the next interest rate announcement, which is September I think it's the 13th, but I might be wrong. I don't have it in front of me. Around that time, there's going to be more news around that, which is going to remove some buyers from the market. So if you're a seller that needs to sell, you need to be on the market right now. Otherwise, you need to wait until probably 2023. Because there's going to be the September announcement, the October announcement, the November announcement. Who knows what's going to happen? There are a couple of rocky months ahead of us. But as long as supply continues to stay where it is or pull back, we really shouldn't have too much fluctuation in price. Okay, and remember, we are not day trading real estate. Nobody wants to move, but people want the things that come with a move. So there's always going to be people that are buying and selling. Nobody wants to move, but I do want to have my kid in a great school. I do want to be closer to work. I do want to insert the thing you want here, whatever it is, like insert the thing that you want. Like those are the reasons why people make moves, and those things will not change. So, I really want to get you to get out of that trap of trying to time the market. Fine, you might buy something next month that'll be 20, 30, 40 grand cheaper. But what does that really do for you? I mean, it's great that you can save some money, but if you see a great house today, that's not going to be available next month. Or maybe it will, who knows? But if you see a great house today that checks all your boxes, there's no reason why you shouldn't jump into it, as long as your finances can handle it. As long as you're not maxing out on that mortgage like we've talked about week over week over week. This is not the time to lay it all on the line. This is not the time to 100% finance an investment property from a line of credit. Not the time. You need to hold some cash back right now. You need to you need to create a buffer in between what you're approved for and what you're buying. Things are getting more expensive. But remember, fixed rates are down. You know what I mean? Like rates are going to fluctuate. It's not just going to be a constant upward swing for the next however many years. As we head into the middle of 2023, I suspect interest rates will be slowly starting to come back down once inflation gets under control. However, we do have China, who has an economy and a massive real estate bubble that is structured very differently than ours, that is on the verge of a complete collapse. So if China goes down the way some people think it's going to go down over the next month or so, that could create massive supply chain issues. As being the manufacturing core of the planet, China's economic downfall, heading into a depression even, could cause some massive problems for supply chain, could cause some massive problems for inflation and prolong this whole situation. So it's very important to keep an eye on China to see what's going on over there. I really don't know right now, but that is something to consider. I'm going to link another YouTube video that talks about that in the description, so you can chime in on that. So what else to show you here? And don't forget, if you're not subscribed here, I really need you to subscribe. Like, come on, 28 weeks in a row I've been doing this. I wake up at 5 in the morning on Tuesdays to pull these numbers just so they're ready for you guys. Like, if you're going to watch this video, throw me a subscribe. Like, do me that solid. If you've got a YouTube channel, I want to subscribe to it too. So like, let's help each other out here. So like I said, we're having multiple offers, 2 to 20 offers on many prime houses and condos. Not every, some of you people that like to send me some hateful comments to say, try to tell me that I'm lying to people. We have some, not all, not many, but some. You are not getting the deals you think you are in this market. Again, we've got some average price movement here. Let me zoom in on that screen for you a little bit, if I can. So you can see that the median price, which is really the better indicator of where the market is, has been coming down off of its, pre-COVID numbers. And that is an indicator of the, Toronto real estate becoming a little bit cheaper over the past couple of months when compared to the first part of the year. But I would like to see these numbers again when we get back up to a normal number of sales in the fall, more active selling season. If we see this come up back to 70 and 80 sales, ideally 120 like we were seeing when the market was really active, then we'll really see what these numbers mean. Because like I said last week, a lot of houses that are listed in the that are worth, $2 to $3 million are simply just not on the market right now. Okay, so it's not like these $2 million houses are selling for 1.4 or $1.5 million. They're just not on the market, and that's pulled the average down. So that's what we're talking about there. And again, days on the market, a lot of homes that are sitting up to 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and they're trading. That's what a normal market looks like. Same thing for condos. We've pulled back from nearly 2,000 listings. We've pulled back from nearly 2,000 listings in the past 6 to 7 weeks, down to 1,607. I was hoping this would dip under 1,600 this week, and I was hoping this would dip under 500 this week, but that did not happen. And fingers crossed it happens next week, because I would love to see some sellers get back in the driver's seat, because they deserve to get paid for their investments right now. And so we can see condo sales back up to 74 from last week. But again, we're normally into, almost 200 sales. Let's look at last year's numbers right here. If we zoom out to last year, this is episode 76, aka week 76. House and condo inventory continues to drop. Get ready for a run up this fall. Guess who was right about that? There was a massive run up that fall. Condos reached prices we had never seen before during that time. But if you're tracking the market weekly, we can see these things. So last year at this time, we have 500 now. There were 386 last year. Condos, we have over 1,600 now. There are 1,297. This dropped down to 600 in January and February, and this was down into the 200s in January and February. So you can see that activity. So mainly we've essentially, we've added a ton of inventory year over year for both houses and condos, but not as much as you might think. But under one is dangerous territory. So you can see why the market was doing what it was doing last year. We had historically low interest rates. We had nothing for people to buy, and they were making some big moves. So last year was a very different ballgame without this interest rate conversation. But you can see that the story is not as dramatic considering what has happened year over year. So the one thing I wanted to make sure that you're doing right now is, if you are a buyer and you are on the sidelines and you're not sure what you want to do, just make sure you're renewing your mortgage pre-approval just before it expires, just to make sure you're locking in the best possible rate for yourself. It's a very easy thing for you to do if you've already started. Just don't forget about it. We had a client not, and now they're out 0.75%, and they've got an interest rate 0.75% higher than what they could have had they locked something in. So not much news to report in the luxury community. It's kind of similar levels of activity. So what did I talk about here? So we talked about some assignments again. You should consider buying either a condo assignment or looking for freehold properties with separate basement units. These units right now are giving you up to 6% cap rates, which is fantastic. Some a little bit less, some a little bit more. We have this awesome investment property right here. It's 807 Gerrard. I had this property sold on the first day on market. However, the deal fell through because the buyer was not fully prepared and probably shouldn't have even been at the offer table in this scenario. But getting into the photos of the property, it's a pretty great place. This is just one of the kitchens upstairs, but I want to get to the photo of the building as soon as I can. Let's see if it'll get us there in time. Otherwise, I'm going to scrap the opportunity. But either way, it's 807 Gerrard Street East. It has 2 residential units that are fully renovated and ready to go. This one has laundry. The lower level one does not. So there's the top floor, the second floor, and the main floor is a retail space. You can get about $2,000 a month for each one of these apartments, plus around $3,500 net for the basement. For the main floor. This is part of the main floor. This is how about that wallpaper in the retail space bathroom? Pretty nice, eh? I don't know if I can even put that in this video. It might be flagged for nudity or something. But and here is the main floor retail space, which used to be a restaurant. There was a full kitchen along this wall. It's still roughed in for that behind there. and getting about 3,500 net. All in about $5,000 a month here when you include your TMI, taxes, maintenance, and insurance. This is an awesome 6% cap potential building. Located, and they've got 2 parking spots right here. You can do 1 car here, 1 car there, but it's really more comfortable for one parking spot. And here's the building right here. And you also have income opportunities from a billboard that you can place on the side of this building as well. So investments like this, and this just came back on the market after being tied up during due diligence period for a couple of weeks. But this is just one of the many, 6% cap rate opportunities that exist in the market right now that really weren't there before. And an area to really keep an eye on right here is the Leaside neighborhood, which has dropped down to below 1 month of inventory, which is the most undersupplied community in the entire 416, with demand remaining really high and inventory remaining really low. This is one of those neighborhoods that you can still do really well as a seller, which is very, very interesting. And that's about it, guys. I really don't want to get into much else. Like I said, if you're considering bringing a unit to market now, do it now. There will be a peak to this rental madness out there. The rental market is absolutely bonkers. Just yesterday, we listed a property, and I'll show you right now. We just listed a condo at 35 Hayden, and we had it on the market for 2 hours. We ended up within 3 hours a sight unseen. This was a $2,300 a month apartment, nothing major, but we ended up with an offer sight unseen for this bad boy. Hey, where's all my photos? Come on now, we got to get the photos in there. I got to talk to the team about that. We got an offer sight unseen on that property. With the entire with the entire year paid up front, without even seeing the property. So that's where the rental market is. If you're a tenant and you don't need to be in the market for a new apartment right now, please step back. You don't need to be out there. The big problem with the rental market is that back in 2020, when schools weren't open and the universities weren't open and everything was online, nobody was absorbing those available rental units that would normally have been scooped up by September of 2020. Nobody was renting those apartments. They got rented later. So it messed up the cycle. So apartments that would normally be available prior to September, ahead of the school year, they're no longer on lease terms that are in line with that. So when students are coming here now to get ready for the school year, and students are what's driving this downtown rental market the most, there's nothing available for them to rent because these lease terms are going to be up mid-year versus September. Mid-school year versus September. So that's a big problem. Plus, we've got foreign nationals coming on work visas that are looking for rentals. And these are people that are going to be buyers within the next year or two. So we've got a great amount of future buyer supply coming here. We have way too many tenants right now. The demand is insane. If you have a unit that is sitting vacant for whatever crazy reason, get it on the market right now. You're probably going to get 20, 30, 40% more than you think you are. And you're probably going to get that cash up front. And remember, landlords can't ask for cash up front, but you can certainly take it if it's offered. That's for sure. So anyway, week 128, thanks so much for being here. I really, really would love to keep you around in this Spring Team family here. The Real Estate Raccoons would love to see you subscribe. This is nothing I'm going to stop. We have other great videos coming over the next few weeks that are not just market report related videos. I've had a number of great suggestions from commenters and email replies. So make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you week 129 next week. Have a great one, everybody. Talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of summer. Take some time.